Scale drawings. This is the pirate version. So this is a digital lesson. It's a lot of fun for the students. And it starts with explaining to the students what a scale drawing is. And then it gives them some vocabulary. So they're going to need to know this vocabulary for later in the lesson. So they can always refer back to slide 3 if they need to. They're going to start on slide 4. And they're given a figure here, a 3 by 3 square, and they're going to scale it up by a scale factor of 2. So that means each of the sides, they're going to count the units and they're going to multiply by 2 to get a scaled up version. So that means it's going to be a 6 by 6 square. So students are just going to click and hold on one of the squares, and they're going to highlight what they want to color in. So then once they have it highlighted, they'll come up here to the fill color feature. They can choose any color they like. And they have a scaled up version by a scale factor of 2. So then they're going to count the perimeter. So for the smaller figure, the perimeter would be 12 units. The larger figure would be 24 units. And you want to point out to the students that when they're looking at the perimeter in a scaled drawing, that the perimeter of the larger figure is going to be 2 times the figure of the smaller figure if the scale factor is 2. So you just take the perimeter, multiply by 2, or multiply by the scale factor. The next figure is a little bit different shape. This time you're going to increase it by a scale factor of 3. So each of these sides you're going to multiply by 3. So you count the units. So we're going to start here. And you can only highlight a rectangle at a time. This would be 6. So again, you click and hold, and then while you're holding, you can highlight what you want to color in. And again, choose any color you like. And then they have a scaled up version of that same diagram here. And now we're going to look at the perimeter again. So the perimeter in this one, if we count around the outside, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They get 10 units. And of the larger figure, if you count around the outside, they're going to have 30 units. So the smaller perimeter, you're just going to multiply by the scale factor of 3 to get the larger perimeter. You're going to do the same thing on the next slide. This one's a little bit tricky. You might want to do it with the students, but they're going to scale this up by a scale factor of 3 and then count the perimeter of each one. At this point, they should be able to predict what the perimeter is going to be. So the next slide is just a review. When the scale factor is 2, the perimeter of the new figure is 2. They're just going to type in the word 2 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. If the scale factor is 3, the perimeter of the new figure will be 3 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. And when they get to the next slide, they've got a scale factor of 1/2. So when their scale factor is a fraction less than 1, that means you're scaling down. So you're going to have a smaller version. So in this one, you're going to take each of the slides, this time divide by 2. So they're going to get something that looks like this. So scaled down by a scale factor of 1/2. The next slide's a little bit different. They're not going to be using the fill color feature. They're going to be using these bars to create an arrow with a scale factor of 1/2. So that means it's going to be half the size of this, the original arrow. So you're going to take each of the sides. I would start at the bottom. And if you divide by 2, you're going to get that bottom measurement of 2 units. The sides will also be 2 units if you divide by 2. So you'll see in a second why you want to start at the bottom. Now these little sections here are 2 units. You're going to divide by 2 and it will now be 1 unit. So they need to practice with this a little bit. It's a little bit tricky. They just move these bars, and then these little blue circles at the end, they click and hold, and they can move them where they like. And then to get the tip here, we're going to count from the bottom. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we divide by 2, that tip will now be 4 units above. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start right here. Again, we click and hold on these little blue circles, and then we're just going to connect. It does take a little bit of practice, so you might want to do this with them. And there we have a scaled down arrow with a scale factor of 1/2. Now for the next few slides, we're going to be looking at area instead of perimeter. So the first one's pretty simple. We're going to scale up by a scale factor of 2. That means another 6 by 6 square. Color in any color they like. Now we're going to look at the area. So the area is length times width. The smaller area is going to be 9 square units, and the larger area is going to be 36 square units. So you can see it's a little bit different with area. We're not multiplying by the scale factor. We're multiplying by the scale factor squared. So 2 squared would be 4. I'm going to multiply my smaller area by 4 to get the larger area. You're going to do the same thing with the next slide. You're going to increase this by a scale factor of 3 and then type in the area for each one. Now slide 12 is just a review. When the scale factor is 2, TWO, the area of the new figure is 2 squared or 4 times the area of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the area of the new figure is 3 squared or 9 times the area of the smaller figure. Now the last slide, they're going to be using these sentence frames, and they're going to move these words into the correct place. So to do that, they're just going to click and hold on the edge, and then they can move each one of these into the correct place. So just a little review of everything they've learned. So this is a digital lesson scale drawings, the pirate version.